Hello and welcome to Science Research Weekly, Season 4, Episode 31, Rings, Vaccines, and Tiny Implausible Things. Get ready for a potential cancer vaccine, a carbon ring stabilized by smaller rings, Uranus's newest tiny moon, absurd conversations or conversions in R, and funding from the American Lung Association. This episode covers material from August 15th to August 21st. So let's get started with our research articles. First up, sensitization of tumors to immunotherapy by boosting early type 1 interferon responses enables epitope spreading. So this article shows how researchers were able to use essentially what amounted to an mRNA vaccine along with an anti-cancer drug to boost the immune system in mice with tumors to elicit an anti-tumor response. A lot going on here, but essentially what this means with this approach is because it doesn't target a specific cancer type, but rather sort of targets the immune system to boost up and to fight the cancer itself. It shows promise towards sort of the panacea of cancer treatment and universal off-the-shelf treatment. So hopefully this continues to go well and we see more updates in the future about this exciting research. All right, switching over to our second article, solution phase stabilization of a cyclocarbon by a catenane formation. So cyclocarbons are rings that consist of only carbon with sort of an N being in the middle. So cycle N carbons, where the N is the number of different carbon atoms. The chemists would be able to do different kinds, like with N36, so that's 36 carbons, anywhere from 6 to 26 lower down the rank. And these have been synthesized. Now, one of the problems with these, they're terribly reactive and can't really be studied outside very low temperatures. You can form them, but then they react and break apart. But researchers now have synthesized cyclo-48 carbon and actually stabilize it by threading 3 covalent macrocycles around it, which stabilizes enough to work with at ambient temperatures. So it's essentially a ring of carbon with 3 smaller molecular rings keeping it together. If you are watching the video or want to go look at the paper yourself, Figure 1 is especially insightful where they show like the models of this. You can see the ring with smaller rings. It's very, very beautiful actually. All right, our last article here. SwRI-led Webb Telescope survey discovers new moons orbiting Uranus. So this is the SwRI, is the Southwest Research Institute. They used the James Webb Space Telescope with a survey. And now Uranus has 29 moons, thanks to that survey. Right now, the name of this small moon is S-2025 U1. It's the smallest object detected so far using this type of survey. Now, S-2025 U1 is only about 6 miles in diameter. It's at the edge of Uranus's inner rings between the orbits of the moons Orfilia and Bianca. Now, given that many of Uranus's moons are named after characters from Shakespeare and other literary works, I suspect that S-2025 U1 will have a more exciting moniker soon. My vote is for Rosencrantz. All right, let's shift our attention to some research tools. The Python Developers Survey for 2024, the results are now out. You can check those out under a variety of categories: general Python usage, purposes for using Python, versions, frameworks, libraries, data science, packaging, and more. Some interesting bits off the top. For example, 86% of respondents used Python as their main language. It was used for a lot of different things. Turns out that about half used for both work and personal, and yeah, a lot of other interesting tidbits that you could dig into on your own time. All right, let's switch over to R. 3 new R bloggers posts. First, from a statistician's R notebook, Handling Missing Data in R, a Comprehensive Guide. It goes from theoretical foundations to detection to simple and advanced strategies to deal with missing data. Along the way, demonstration using the NHANES dataset, as well as some tips and tricks. Second, from R on Every Day is a School Day, learning antimicrobial resistance AMR genes with Bioconductor, where you can follow along with the author's learning journey to get more familiar with antimicrobial resistance genes, be able to pull out that sort of genetic data and run it using Bioconductor packages. And then third, maybe for a little fun, jumping into the absurd with Tomaz TSQL's little useless / useful R functions, the absurd converter with Markdown report. Ever wanted to convert newtons to bananas, calories to gummy bears, or decibels to baby screams? Well, now you can, along with conversion noise and useless animation at the end here. So there's a full code is available here for a little useless conversions in your day. Now on CRAN packages, there's 5 new ones that might be of use for you. There's Nematode, Ecological Indices Calculator for nematode communities, Confidence Curves, Frequentist Confidence Analysis for clinical trials, GG Diagram, Object-Oriented Diagram Plots with ggplot2, CSDB, an abstracted system for easily working with databases with large data sets, and GT Regression, tools for creating publication-ready regression tables. Closing out our time here, we have some research funding. One opportunity today from the American Lung Association, or one opportunity source, because there turns out to be several grant opportunities from the American Lung Association for their 2025-2026 cycle. There's the Allergic Respiratory Disease Award, the Catalyst Award, the Dalsimer Interstitial Lung Disease Award, Emerging Respiratory Pathogen Award, Hastings Innovation Award for Interstitial Lung Disease, Innovation Award, Lung Cancer Discovery Award, Public Health and Public Policy Research Award, and Indoor Air Award. Lumens to fireflies. Thanks for joining me for Science Research Weekly. Science on.